Hey everyone, we are going to be looking at Origin Protocol today, okay? Ticker symbol OGN. This video is going to be short and sweet. We're going to cover three things, okay? There's three signals that everyone can use, three indicators everyone can use. It's beginner friendly. We're going to look at one simple chart pattern known as the wedge. We're going to look at the MACD for buy and sell signals, and then we're also going to look at the RSI for divergences, okay? So all of these things are actually beginner friendly. You don't have to use them all, but once you are experienced enough to use all three of them, it's going to give you such an edge over the market. Okay. You need an edge when it comes to trading and investing, and, using these things, learning them one by one, and then eventually being able to combine them all is going to give you such an edge in the market that, you're going to completely outperform retail traders. Now, I am a retail trader. If you're watching this video, you're a retail trader. They say 90% of us don't make money in the market. So let's prove them wrong and let's learn what we can do to help improve ourselves. All right. So the first thing we're going to go over is going to be the chart patterns. Okay, so we'll go over the MACD sell signals. We'll go over the RSI divergences. I have a couple of those. Those are going to be towards the later half of the video. For now, we're just going to dive into some basic chart patterns. Okay, and the easiest chart pattern, in my opinion, to chart up is what's known as the wedge. Okay, so there is a rising wedge. This is a bearish pattern. If you see us bouncing in between these areas, this is a bearish pattern where you're going to look for the breakdown of this trend line. Once you break this trend line, things are going to possibly get pretty rough for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at what I mean. All right. Once we broke this trend line, okay, we had a 37% drop. We ended up dropping 53%. We ended up dropping so much more, right? It's been a horrible crypto winter for most people. But yeah, so this is the easiest pattern, in my opinion, to chart up, especially as a beginner. So that's why this is the only pattern we have on the chart. We have a rising wedge here, okay, and we got the nice breakdown, and it played out nice. Okay, it played out very nicely. And look at what happened as a result of forming the ascending wedge and it playing out, right? We actually didn't get the full play out on the initial move. The full play out would have taken us down to this level here. Okay. That would have really been, a perfect textbook play out. But what happened was we actually formed a descending wedge, okay, or a falling wedge. And this is a bullish pattern, right? So we just went over how a rising or ascending wedge is a bearish pattern indicating a drop. If we look here, a descending wedge is going to indicate a pop, right? This one was a perfect textbook ascending wedge, all right? Meaning that we ended up playing out to the top of the pattern fully, right? So, we got the initial, once we finally got our breakout, we were able to hit the targets, okay? So this is why, in particular, I like to take profit on at least, I tend to leave about 30 to 50% of my position left in the play after the initial breakout of a wedge pattern because they may not always play out immediately to your liking, right? We would have expected OGN to drop all the way to this level off of the initial breakout, but that didn't happen, right? So, taking profits early is never a bad thing. Again, 90% of us retail traders fail and don't make money. So why wouldn't you take profit on the initial breakout and leave a smaller part of your position, to see if you can increase those profits, right? So, this one was a nice textbook ascending wedge or descending wedge with a nice bullish breakout to the top. And look at what happened again. We form an ascending wedge, right? So this is an ascending wedge showing you that we may come out all the way to the bottom down here. Now, this one played out very, very nicely, okay, and actually ended up wicking down below. Now, these wicks are very extreme. This is super common to see in cryptocurrency, so you need to get used to them. The reason being for this is because crypto is highly leveraged, right? There's not necessarily options trading for crypto, but what there is leverage, right? People can go 5x, people can go 10x, 100x, depending on what platform they're using. And this is going to cause these extreme wicks, right? These wicks are very important, right? When you see a candle move all the way like this and then it closed down here, yeah, it's still bullish, but is a little bit bearish, right? Because you didn't see buyers step in, you saw sellers step in. And what's happening is people on leverage are taking profits here, 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 and they're so over leveraged that it's driving the price dramatically down. All right. So, we're seeing an ascending wedge turn into a descending wedge, turn into an ascending wedge, again, turn into a descending wedge. Now, what we're going to look at here is another form of a not perfect textbook wedge pattern playing out, right? I'm trying to zoom in currently, so forgive me. But if this bullish descending wedge was to play out perfectly in textbook, we actually would have risen, okay, all the way up to these levels. Now, this is why it's important to take profit on the initial breakout, right? We see a nice breakout, okay, and then come back down and retest, and we get the nice move up. And then what do we see? We see an ascending wedge, right? So, we would have taken, me personally, taken position profits on the position and left about 30 to 50% of the play in there. And then, start to look and see, oh, well, I'm seeing an ascending wedge. So if I break this trend line here, I'm just going to go ahead and close my position, take profits, and possibly enter a short position, right? It's not as easy always to short cryptocurrency. So I'm not advising always being a short seller. But what I am saying is that if you are in some profits, these are some very nice ways that you could have protected yourself, right? You always want to protect the trade, protect your investments. The simple wedge pattern is really going to help you out a lot. Now, this one was a textbook wedge pattern, right? We got the full breakout to the downside, right? We can see that where the pattern began, we ended up coming to that price level there and hitting it perfectly. All right. Currently, okay, we're going to zoom forward a little bit into the price action. All right. And while this has been an extremely, extremely difficult bear market for most people, right? A really hard crypto winter that caught a lot of people by surprise, we do see another bullish descending wedge pattern. Okay. And so we're going to look and see, we're testing this trend line now. We've tested it once, tested it twice, we've tested it 3 times. The more you test a trend line, the weaker it gets. Now that we've gone over the chart patterns, okay, we're going to go over the RSI and look for divergences, okay? This is going to give you more signals on top of chart patterns that you can look out for to indicate, further potential future movement, right? So the first one we're going to look at is bullish divergence, where we have a low here, clearly making lower lows. All right. Sorry about that. My wife had to come grab me for something real quick. Okay. So we're gonna look low and a lower low, right? You can see that we're clearly, more in of a downtrend right there, right? Making lows and lower lows. The relative strength index is making a low and a higher low. It's an indicator that you may see some bullish activity. We did get a nice little bullish pop off of that already. That was a 28% move. But what we're looking for is to see if we can get the bullish indicator of bullish divergence combined with a bullish chart pattern of a descending wedge to play out and take us potentially back up here to 25, 26 area. All right. Now, there's no guarantees. These are just things that we are going to look out for and use as potential indicators, right? And we're going to go over the past and look at how divergence was also a key indicator of some potential future price action, right? The first divergence we're going to highlight is again a bullish divergence right here, right? And let me draw this up for you guys. So we can see that we have, a low over here in this area. We have a higher low over here in this area, and the price action is going down. So when you see the price action going one way and the relative strength index going another way, that's what's known as a divergence, right? And from here to its highs was a 167% move. That is a buy signal, okay? And that's areas where you want to take profit, right? Why wouldn't you take profit if you're over 100% on the play? Okay, so always keep that in mind, right? I'm very big on taking profits. Leave, a smaller position in the play to see if it still runs up, but you're never going to be, no one's going to call you stupid for taking profits, right? People are going to call you stupid because 90% of retail traders don't make money and they're not taking profits on these opportunities. One, because of ignorance and they don't know, what these opportunities are. and they're just seeing it go up, and they're saying, okay, well, we're going to go back all the way to a dollar, man. We just went from, 15 cents all the way up to 40 cents. We're going back to the moon, right? You don't necessarily want to be a moon boy all the time. All right. And the reason I'm making this video is to help everyone, find some signals whether or not to buy or sell and when to take profits. All right. So that was the first divergence. We'll go over again right here. We have a low and a lower low right here. And, that is basically, or I'm sorry, that's not even the pattern I want to show. What I want to show next actually is going to be a bearish divergence. Okay. And this is an indicator of some future bearish activity, right? And so what we have here is going to be actually the opposite of what we saw previously of a bullish divergence. Notice how we have a low and a higher low, right? So the price action, whoops, is clearly in an uptrend. Look at the RSI, the relative strength index. It's in a downtrend, right? So we're making higher lows here and we're making lower lows here, right? This is an indicator of further bearish activity. And once we got this signal, we can go ahead and take a look at our measurement, okay? And, things ended up dropping another 25%. If we go ahead and look further in the future, right, we can see that ultimately things ended up dropping as low as 65%. All right. So this is why divergence on the RSI is important, because we're going higher here, but we're going lower here, indicating that we may potentially head lower in the future. All right. So that's why we go over divergences on the RSI. The next thing we're going to look at is our MACD indicator, right? And I really love the MACD indicator. It gives you some really good buy and sell signals. Okay, here was our first sell signal. We'll go ahead and draw a line up to this area. So the measured move on this sell signal, okay, was, about 42%. All right. So, not only have we looked at specific chart patterns, we've also looked at the relative strength index for any divergences to give us an indicator. We can also use the MACD to give us an indicator as well, right? And then we can see down here, we got a buy signal. All right. And we'll go ahead and look at that moment on the chart from when we got the buy signal to the highs. Okay, we hit highs of 66% afterwards. All right. And notice how we have a sharp drop afterwards, which is, again, why I recommend always taking profit, because you can always re-enter a play at any given point in the future once we establish, some other signals or some buy signals or a strong support zone. Okay. In this instance right here, we ended up establishing a nice support level right around these areas here. We can see that there's a clear demand zone in this little box. Okay. And this is where buyers are stepping in the market. All right. Let's go ahead and look at our next MACD signal. All right. And we went over this one right here. Or I'm sorry, we just went over this one. We crossed below and then come back up and we get another buy signal. All right. And we can take a look at that move. And that was a 131% move if you're a perfect trader. Again, none of us are perfect traders. The aim is to be not the 90%, but rather the 10% that actually makes profit. Okay. So whether you take profit at 2%, 5%, 50%, 20%, 100%, that's up to you based on your own risk tolerance. But you want to actually start establishing consistent profits, because consistent profits will compound over time into much bigger gains than what your account originally had in the beginning when you started at, your base level. All right. We'll take a look at the next sell signal here. All right. And we got a nice sell signal here on September 7th. Right. And look at how big that red candle was. Okay. So we're going to look at our sell signal here to the lows. That was a 51% drop. And you could have either short sold this token, or you could have protected the trade and seen that there was a bear signal, and that this is a time for you to exit and take some profits. What is going to be our next signal? We're going to look here on the MACD. All right. And again, this is another buy signal. We're seeing the blue line cross above the orange line. All right. And we can go ahead and examine the profit amounts in this time. You can see that it went up about 89%, all the way up to about 120%. Really good buy signal there for you to take profits. And what you're looking for ultimately is the crossover down below as a sell signal. Okay. Um, and we can see here, we got the crossover down below. We'll go ahead and take a look at the measured move of this move to the downside. All right. And this was, um, boom, another 50% plus drop. Okay. Down 58% roughly on that move. We'll look at our next buy signal on the MACD. All right. And we can see here that this was a 33% move, right? Those are good profits. Okay. If a hedge fund, if $1 billion hedge fund is giving or delivering 30% returns within a year, they're doing amazing. They're one of the most successful hedge funds there is. This was an 8-day trade that you could have gotten 30% on. All right. So even though you as a retail trader may not be in control of billions or millions of dollars, you want to build consistency. Okay. And consistency is the key, because if you start out with $1,000, you build a 30% profit, and then you take a 50% profit after you've got $1,300. Now, you're at $2,100 and you've already doubled your account just in two simple trades. Okay. We'll go here. We'll again look at the MACD signal. We got a sell signal here, and that was a 54% drop. Okay. But then what do you know? We get a buy signal here when the blue line crosses over. All right. And this was a very profitable trade right here of about 185%. All right. We go forward to the future and we see that we are getting a sell signal here at this point in time. We drop down 78%. We get another buy signal right around this area right here, right? And we'll take a look at that measured move, right? And that was a nice move of 79%, even up to, yeah, about 79% on that move right there. We formed a nice little double top there, one top, two top, aka the M pattern, right? And here recently is when we got our most recent sell signal, okay? And we can take a look and see that we ended up dropping as low as 50% again. All right. So plenty of times this token drops 50%. It's not uncommon for a cryptocurrency to lose half of its value in a short period of time. And it's not uncommon for cryptocurrency to try to double its value in a short period of time as well. These are three ways that you can identify it, all right, using chart patterns, using the MACD, and using the relative strength index. Once you start to combine all of these tools together, you'll start to notice, okay, that we are getting multiple signals giving us a bullish or a bearish alert, right? We can see here, we had the descending wedge, right? And then we got a buy pattern. We got a buy signal. Okay. So maybe you didn't buy here at the perfect low because you're not a perfect trader. Nobody is going to know when we wick down to this level that this is the perfect buy entry, right? But what you can do is you can chart the pattern, know what's forming, and then look for a MACD buy signal. And, this is your nice little confirmation that we may have some bullish activity to the upside, right? And then what do we get? We get an ascending wedge. This is a bearish pattern. We get a sell signal. So, you can see that, okay, well, maybe I didn't believe the initial breakdown of this pattern because we rallied back up, but look at what we ended up getting shortly afterwards. We got our sell signal. So now I'm going to go ahead and take profits or short this token and ride it to the downside until I see a reason to buy, right? And then we go over here, bullish divergence. We have a low, we have a lower low, we have a low, we have a higher low. This is an indicator. This is a buy indicator, right? And shortly after the divergence in the cryptocurrency token, right, we also got the buy signal. So we had two signals right there to go ahead and buy. And, that's basically it. That's the summary for the video. You want to learn these patterns. You want to learn the MACD. You want to learn the relative strength index, and you want to be able to spot divergences on your own, because that's what's going to give you an edge in trading, whether it's stocks, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's Forex. There's multiple signals and patterns that the everyday person can use. And once you start to use these, again, it's going to give you that really good edge. Okay. Trading is like going to war. The more weapons you have at your disposal, the better advantage you have in the battlefield. Okay. Every time you log on to look at the price of a cryptocurrency, it's a battlefield. It's a battle between buyers and sellers. You need to give yourself the best advantage when heading into the battlefield so that you do not die. Okay. We don't want to die necessarily and lose all of our money. Our goal is to win the battle and further our investment opportunities. So, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I'd really appreciate it if you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, because again, I do those viewer requests every single week. So if you comment down below on what token you want to see next, what stock, what strategy you would like me to explain further in detail, I'll be happy to do that for you as soon as I can. And I'm out.